Okay. We're celebrating music with Billy Rowe and coming out of Jet Boy and all of this rock and roll relics. You started in 2000. Here comes Buck Cherry. Seems to be a change in guitarists. And were you close to the guys? I knew you were friends with them, but
Mhm.
how ready were you? Was it just like, did you have any inkling that this was coming up, or how
Mm-mm.
much time did you have prepare?
None. Not really. No time. Just
Okay.
it was out of it wasn't out of the blue. I mean, I've known Kelly Lemieux is the bass player now. I've known him longer than anybody in Buck Cherry, who's in Buck Cherry now. Um, and Stevie and I, when he joined Buck Cherry at the 15 era, the big crazy bitch moment.
Okay.
Jimmy Ashurst was an old friend of mine, and he was in the band, and I remember when he got the gig. Um, so I would go to the shows, and him and I are the same age. We all grew up on the same stuff, and he'd go to he remembers the whole Jet Boy movement. So fast forward to when I was asked to join, Stevie was talking to me about it before they got the guy Kevin in the band, who technically replaced Keith, like right
Right.
after Keith. I was still in San Francisco. I was willing to go for it, but as lo and behold, looking back now, the timing was not the best for me personally. And then when I moved to LA, just a few years later, maybe two, he reached out to me again. Stevie just texted me and just I think he had asked me, he goes, "Do you sing backing vocals?" And I'm like, well, not as of lately, but where's this going? And he basically just, you're the guy for the job. This is what's going on. And this is right when COVID hit.
Right.
So Kevin skedaddled, over COVID, basically, didn't want to go out and tour. He's on that side of the thinking.
Hmm.
But and I'm like, yeah, well, I got my guitar company and he knew that. And I said, well, I'm not going to say no, but I know it's not a lot of shows right now. So let's just one thing at a time and see where this goes. I don't even know if you guys are gonna, how it's gonna gel. Let's just see. He's
Right.
like 6 shows or something that they wanted me to commit to, and I'm like, okay, that's a good way to test the waters,
Yeah, good honeymoon.
So, and then here it
So
is
had
going
you seen
for a
them
year.
live recently before that?
I'd go to shows when they were in the Bay Area. Jimmy would, go, grab lunch or dinner, whatever with Jimmy was when he was in the Bay Area, wherever they'd play. Since
Okay.
he was in the band, which goes back to '05, my old band, American Heartbreak, which came out around the same time as Buck Cherry. I think we played with them twice locally, like in the Bay Area. I think San Jose and then San Francisco. But we did those shows. I went and did those shows and everything clicked. I mean, everybody is just, we're all on the same page. We all have a lot of history of doing this. We're all like, we're older now and, it's just, it's the perfect band for me. It's right up my alley. I was always a fan of the band.
Right.
Just the style of the playing is just right up my alley. Just a straightforward Malcolm Young with a little of that Joe Perry slide stuff in there, and that's really what they needed. So worked out great.
Well, of course, there's been, like you say, Keith Nelson, a number of members in the
Hmm.
band, but Josh Todd is the foundation. He is the
Yeah.
captain of the ship. What can you say about Josh? Because obviously they're a touring machine. He loves to perform, loves
Hmm.
to bring it to the people. Take us
Hmm.
behind the stage persona. What keeps
Hmm.
him motivated and makes him the guy he is?
He's just, he's a music fan, I mean, he loves music, and it's, what I see is this is, he hit at a young age, and it hit good. And then when it hit again, it hit really good. And this is his job. He's a great front man, great singer. He writes great lyrics, great melodies. He's just got a very natural sense of you know, writing great songs. And he's just got a stage presence that is just super rock star. you
Yeah.
know. So
Well,
when
I
you
know.
think about Cherry, even from way back in the day, you always think of him. You think of Josh, which
Yeah.
is cool. That's a great thing. I mean, the bands have changed members for quite a few, but I think this lineup is a real more of a probably the closest to an actual band that I've seen them go through. You know, not just because I'm in it, but it does. It's got a vibe. But you know, people come to the show. It's a huge part. Is it's most of it. It's him, which is I get it. That's just
Yeah.
you I think
He,
that's a great thing. You know, it's
he's a
just
dynamic front man. That's what it takes. Great
mhm.
songs, great voice, great energy.
Yeah,
A live
exactly.
show people can get into, feel like they
Hmm.
saw something.
Yeah, you hear his voice, you know right away. If you know Buck Cherry, you're like, that's Buck Cherry. You know, each record they haven't really veered off the track too much with all these records that they've done. I mean, they're on their 10 records now after
Yeah.
today's actually the 25th anniversary of the first record.
25th anniversary celebration, the quarter century. It's
Hmm.
amazing.
That's a
Of
hard
course,
thing to do in these days, especially when they came out in 99 when they
oh
were up
yeah.
against everything that they were against
They were on
all.
DreamWorks Records, which was long gone, and they survived it all.
Yeah,
And of
yeah.
course, you're on the Hellhound record, came out
Hellbound, yeah.
21.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Hellbound was the last one. The new one is Volume 10. The newest one, which is already
Right.
going on, I don't even
And
know now,
of
sixth
course,
one of the year.
yeah, it must be a little challenging to come up with the set. You know, the more albums you put out, trying to figure out to play something from everything, keep everybody happy, keep the
Yeah, well,
band.
luckily that's not our nobody's job but Josh's. Josh writes the set, so which I have no problem with that. I can remember doing sets with Mickey and coming up with he does the set when we do Jetboy shows. I'm like, you write the set, you know, 'cause I get it. A lot of it's based around vocals and keeping that pace going, you know, especially when you get older and you do multiple shows. You
Right.
really got to pace yourself so you can keep your performance at tip-top shape every night, you know. So but there's always stuff that gets bounced around, but there's overall there's a skeleton of the whole of the set in the show. And then we'll just, you know, pull and drop different songs in every few it could be every couple shows or it could be like a couple
Okay.
weeks. Some stays the same,
You
you
got
know.
to be on your toes. Here's the set list for tonight.
Yeah, you know, but the structure of it's really the same. It's always just it's two or three songs that are just pulled and other ones are dropped in, and they're ones that we do. So it doesn't really throw you off. It still
Right.
keeps the show
It's not
flowing.
a major overhaul, just a
No,
little
no. You want to keep that show like as is, just so because it's just a, you know, there's a autopilot that's important too.
yeah, yeah. I hear Cheap Trick writes a different set list, even though a lot of it's the same. They change something up
Hmm.
almost every show. So
Yeah, well, Cheap Trick
everybody
is
on
one
their
of those
toes.
bands that I don't think anybody can compete with.
Now I know you did
Good.
a lot of shows with Skid Row, and even though their singer has changed, I mean, you're talking
Mhm.
Snake, you're talking Rachel, and um, how was it playing with those guys? Obviously, another band that survived a lot.
That was great. I mean, that was a great package, great tour, great everything. I mean, it was the two perfect bands, I think, to tour together. You know, it'd be great to do it again. Everything just worked great. For me personally, I've known Rachel, Dave, and the original guys who are still there since the 80s. You know, they were bands of Jet Boy and our friends, you know, real good friends back then. We'd hang out
Yeah,
a
I saw
lot.
their first show they did at the Whiskey. There was this band out
Hmm.
of Jersey. They
And so for us, it was, you know, for me, it was cool. It was like a high school reunion, you know. Um, it was cool. I mean, Rachel and I, you know, always kept up through these years and, you know, keep up with a lot with Scotty. And the thing, Rachel and I were talking, you know, texting about the idea before it really came to light. But even, you know, we both said it's like, man, we've never toured together. We've been talking about it over 30 years and we're finally doing it. So it was awesome. It was a great package. The shows were huge. They went off the hook. I mean, most of them were sold out. And so you put these two bands together like that, you know, a package and you
Yeah,
just,
it's a full evening right there. A lot of
yeah,
songs,
yeah, exactly.